4. Today we're talking time. Write this in the chat. Time, money, and capital assets. Time, money, and capital assets. How many of you would like more time? Yay. Give me virtual high five. How many of you would like more money? Give me virtual high fives. And how many of you would like more actual capital asset classes, like assets, capital that you can use to multiply to get more time and money? Right? Hi guys, this is Ann McDonald. If you're new to the stream or the channel, we are on day 4 of a 5-day workshop to help you as a service-based entrepreneur create your online signature course, your online info product that you can sell one to many. Okay, go ahead and write that in the chat, one to many. All right. Now, if you're new to this stream, I encourage you, after we talk about what we're going to talk about today, I want you to go back and watch day 1, day 2, and day 3, because we unpack some fundamental mindset things that are necessary for your success in the online space. Okay. All righty, guys. So my VIP rooms, can you guys go ahead and mute if you're not already muted? Go ahead and mute. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you, when you thought about starting an online business, you thought about how much time and money you were going to have to set aside to do it? Okay. You thought about, okay, how much time and money am I going to have to set aside to do it? So back in the day when I started in 2008, it was, doesn't take any time, doesn't take any money, flashing arrows, flashing arrows, flashing arrows. And I was like, I was so desperate. Like, can we just get real? I was so desperate, working 24/7, traveling in my design business. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I was overworked. And I, at the time, would have believed anything. Okay. At the time, I was like, sign me up, Buttercup. Like, I'm in. And so the first thing that I ever did was I bought an online course that trained me, like, what this whole online thing was. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. His name's Kerwin Rae, back in the day. And was he from New Zealand, Patrick? I think it was New Zealand, Australia.
I think it was Australia.
Australia. And he only delivered his trainings live. And I'm in the United States. So I would literally sit in bed and I would listen. I had to listen live. So Patrick's like next to me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to get everything that he's training on. He's actually an amazing guy. And I learned a lot from him. One of the things I learned from him that I actually want to share with you today is how much time, just write this in the chat, how much time and how much money it will actually take you to create your first online course. All right. The first thing is time. I'd love to get some kind of questions in the chat. Let me know how much time you think every week that you should take in order to create your online course. How much time should you allocate each week to do this? Let me know in the chat. I'm looking for messages. Okay. 25 hours. Good guess, Pam. Anybody else got another guess? This is weekly. How much time should you plan or allocate to create and steward your online course? Let me know in the chat. Anybody else got a guess? Okay. The only one I've got right now is 25 hours. Okay. And very good. Lisa Swanson has been in my vortex. Okay. So the answer is actually 10. 10 hours a week is how much time I allocate to creating and stewarding my online courses. That's for one course. Okay. That's one course, 10 hours a week. We're going to
just so you know, Tanya said 10 also on the
cool. Cool. Thank you, Tanya. I'm glad you're on the stream. So 10 hours a week, right? Now, 10 hours a week. Tell me how many hours a year that is. How many weeks are there? Let's do some math because I want you guys to get the perspective here. $520 hours per year, okay? And how many hours are there in a year? Ooh. It's math time with Ann. Okay, it's okay. Pull out your calculators. We got the smarty ones. We got Pam and Marilyn and Karen still on camera with me. All right. How many hours are there in a year? Yep, we're like, I want the engagement, guys, because I want you to get a hold of this. I want you to have hope. All right, how many hours are there in a year? I'm waiting for the chat. 8,760 hours in a year. Okay, I'm just going to take you at your word on that, Pam. Now, who knows how to do a percentage? What percentage of 8,760 is 520? Anybody know? Patrick, where's my math guy? Yes, hi YouTube, hi Facebook. Yes, we're doing math time. Why? Because I want you to end today with hope.
And give it to me again.
Okay, so it's 10 hours a week. Okay, 10 hours a week, right? It's 520 hours a year. And there are 8,760 hours in a year. So Pam Pertiller for the win. She's got 5.2%. Now, how many of you guys know what a tithe is? A tithe. You know what a tithe is? It's what God asks for. Okay. He asked for 10%. We're asking for about half of that. Okay. So not even what God asked for from our resources. We're looking at 5 to maybe 6% of your time this year to create an online course. Are we good with that? Are you still with me? Is it worth it? Is your time trade worth it? If you were to give 10 hours a week, yes, okay, to create your online course for your audience, yes or no? Yes. Awesome, Lisa Swanson. All right. Now, I'm going to give you my framework before we get into the money to make this thing easy. There is a quote that I will share with you, and I want you to write this in the chat. The road to success is littered with dead identities, specifically mine. Say it out loud with me and write it down. The road to success is littered with dead identities, specifically mine. Okay? Specifically mine. So I'm going to give you something called the die framework. It's time to die to the former identity in order to succeed as an online course creator. Okay? It's very simple, but it's the die framework because the you, I'm looking at Marilyn, Teresa, Karen, Pam, Lisa, Iris, Markel, who are on the VIP stream. If you're not on the VIP, I still encourage you to get on. We got tomorrow for Q&A, and then we're going to do a bonus day. Okay. So if you're not on VIP, I highly encourage you to hop in. The die framework is very easy, but it will require you to leave some old mindsets and old identities behind. Okay. Just think about that for a minute. So the next question I have for you is, are you willing to leave the old identity that got you here behind? Yes or no? That's actually the first part of the DIE framework. It's a decision. It's what we call a binary decision. Yes or no. Okay? Because if you create an online course, you're going to be different. You're going to think different. You're going to engage differently with your audience a year from now than you do today. Think about that for a minute. If you set aside 10 hours a week to create and steward your online course, you're going to be a different person a year from now. And the only person who can make that decision is you. So do we have some ones, right? Lisa Swanson, you can hear my pug snoring. I actually have, do I have both of them up here? So if you hear snoring or body sounds in the background, it's not actually me, it's my pugs. So the first part is the decision. You have to decide. Okay. So who can guess how much money it takes to create and deliver an online course? $5,000, good guess. Okay. Anybody else want to take a guess? How much money does it take to create and deliver an online course? Okay. Karen Hockman, would you unmute and share the answer with the group?
None.
None. It takes zero money. Okay. One of the things that we get tripped up on is not thinking in our new identity as an online course creator. Okay. But if we don't make that identity shift, if we don't die to our former way of thinking, we actually are not aware of everything that's available to us as an online course creator. Okay, I want to share something with you. Do you guys know that right now, today, I can go on to Facebook, create a free group, create guides, do video training, create quizzes, create polls, make some pretty graphics, and create a course? Do you know that I can do that? Free. Totally free. But if I'm not thinking and strategizing like a high-level creator, I miss it. I miss it. I think I'm missing something. I think I need something in order to do what I want to do. And the truth is, I would posit this to you, you don't need anything to do what you want to do. What you do need to do is to shed some old bad beliefs, to shed some of those things that are locking up your identity from being the fullness of who you're called to be in this season. Okay? So when people ask me, and I get this question asked all the time. Okay? I started, let me just give you a little reference point. The first time I created courses for other people, it was a volunteer gig for an international ministry. Then it turned into a paid gig. But the first time I did it, I was like, guys, this is super easy. All you have to do is this. And they're like, that is not easy to me. Okay. But I had the identity to say, I have the identity of a successful online course creator. I have that identity. Okay. How many of you, and I'm going to ask my VIP group, how many of you, if somebody said, hey, can you whip out a cake or a pie? You could like knock it out just like that, right? Like you're good at the crust. I mean, like, why? Why can you do that? Let me know on YouTube or on Facebook if you're listening. Why can you do that? Because you're like, I got it. Like I do this all the time. It's no big deal. It's who I am, right? I can practically make a cake with all the wrong ingredients because I know how to like fix stuff, right? Little low on baking powder. We're going to use this. Little too much salt. We're going to throw some potato in. Like I got the tricks. I got the tips and I can do it in my sleep. So the first thing that we need to understand about creating an online course successfully is, first thing we have to do is we have to die, right? We got to make some decisions about our former identity, okay? The second thing is we have to allocate about 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week. Who's ever heard that saying that time will fill however much time you've allocated, right? Like if you've given yourself 5 minutes to do something, what happens? Do you get it done in the 5 minutes? If you've given yourself 5 months to do something, what happens to that thing? Right? It takes 5 months. If you're like, man, I got an hour, I need a dress for this event, what happens? You find the dress. Okay. If you're like, oh, I got 6 months to find the dress for this event that I'm going to, what happens? It takes 6 months. So what I want to tell you as someone who's been in this space since 2008, your ability to make decisions, snap your fingers with me, your ability to make decisions is what will keep your time compressed to 10 hours a week. Okay. And that's to create and deliver a live course. Okay. The cost, you can literally do it using Facebook. You can do it using Facebook and your cell phone. Okay. Facebook and your cell phone. Why do I share that with you? Because I think one of the things that keeps us from showing up as the expert in our field is that we think it's harder than it is. Okay, we think it's harder than it is. And if I can get you to that place where you're like, oh, it's actually pretty easy, then your thinking starts to clear up, right? You come up with better ideas. Let me know in the chat if this is making sense to you. It's making sense to you. I'm going to check the chat. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. The first thing you need to do is you need to make a decision that you're going to do this. So let me know in the chat, one, if you've made a decision that you're going to do this. You're going to create your first online course. Okay. Your creation of your first course will likely not be your first $1 million. It's okay, right? But you'll be way closer than you would be if you didn't finish it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide. The second thing is we're going to identify like who we're actually providing this stuff to. Okay. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to identify. Right? Who is your course for? I'm going to give you an example from one of my holiday decor courses. Okay. This is for a hobbyist decorator who is the wife of an influential minor league sports team partial owner in Ohio, who has to entertain in her small town, who doesn't want all of her holiday decor to look like everybody else's stuff. I can tell you her name. I can show you her picture. I literally built the course for a specific person. Okay. So let me know, one in the chat, if you can think of a specific person that you are creating your course for. Not an age range, but a specific person. Okay, Karen says yes, one. Iris, Pam, Marilyn, Markel, Teresa, do you guys have a specific person? So one of the exercises I run our groups through is to actually come up with an actual image of the person. Okay. So let me ask you a question. What happens? His name's Mike, right, Markel? What happens when you are 8 hours into the week and you're like, I got to finish this course? If you don't have that specific person dialed in, what happens? Mess. You're like, I don't know. Do they want this? Do they want that? Do they want this? Do they want that? Do they want this? Like, what do they want? But when you have one person, you can actually create because you have identified that one person. Okay. Let me know one if that's making sense. Right? Vince, awesome. Thank you, Marilyn. Can I tell you? I want to share this without sharing too much. One of the largest consulting clients that I have had, who shall remain nameless, this tripped them up for months. Because they're like, well, we have this client and 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 this client. I'm like, I know, but each course has one client. Each individual course has one client. Okay, write that in the chat. My course has one client. Okay. My course has one client. And in the creation of your course for that one client, you must be willing to, just say it, offend your non-clients. Okay. When I train and teach, you're going to see me and hear me use like references from the Bible. You're going to hear me and see me talk about stuff like that. Though I use that for teaching moments. If that's not your gig, I am not your coach. I'm not your consultant, and it's all good. Okay. I just use those references because they minister to me. They help me get a hold of things to communicate. Okay. In the same way, the course that you make a decision to focus on, the course that you identify the one client, and then here's the kicker, the third one, get ready to not be rocked because it's simple in theory. Execute. Right in the chat. Execute. Like execute that thing. Execution. Execution. You're going to make a decision. You're going to identify one person and you're going to execute that thing. Can you imagine you made a decision to train for a marathon? And you were like, I'm going to set aside 10 hours a week. Now, I know we got Markel on. She's like a professional coach, like Ironman. So I don't want to mess this up, but let's just pretend you could train for 10 hours a week to run your first marathon. Okay. And you have made that decision. You've marked it out on your calendar and you've identified the marathon. You've picked the marathon. Okay. I actually ran in the Portland Marathon. I did pretty well too. So you've identified the marathon. Okay, so hang with me, guys. You've decided to create your online course. Marilyn, Pam, Iris, Markel, Teresa, Karen, anybody else on the stream. You've identified the person that you want to make the course for. And then life gets in the way. Anybody ever had life get in the way? Right? I'll just tell you this week alone, we had an air conditioner bust and a tree fall. I had two very good reasons to not show up this week. Life got in the way. But I've made a decision. I had identified, I love serving you guys, and I showed up to execute. That's it. Right? That's it. So let me know in the chat if this feels achievable, if this feels easy. Okay. I will tell you there are 15 things you need to include to do a really strong course. You're going to need a headline. You're going to need a subheadline. You're going to need at least 3 videos. You're going to need a system. You're going to want to know how to create some terms and conditions and privacy policies. You're going to need to learn how to create a pixel. None of these things are hard. I literally have a list of 15 things. It's called our capital assets sheet. And I hand it to our mastermind clients. Marilyn knows about it. Markel knows about it. Teresa knows about it. Iris knows about it. It's literally a list of 15 things. All you have to do is make a decision, right? What's the framework? It's called the DIE framework, because you're not going to be the same person you were then that you are when you finish your course, okay? So decide. Allocate 10 hours a week. Identify the one person and then execute it. That's it. That's it. But Anne, I need the steps. Karen, what area is your information product in?
Deliverance ministry.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give it up for Karen. Iris, what area is your course in?
Encouraging single moms.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Iris. Who thinks the checklist for Karen is going to be exactly identical in deliverance ministry as Iris's product for single moms? Is the recipe the same for an apple pie and a chocolate cake? Nope. Nope. So one of the first things that we have to, I'm going to use that term again, die to, is that there is a one size fits all to create your first course. The first thing we need to do is we need to get it out of you. The first thing you need to do is to get it out. Okay? We've got to get it out of you. Because if we don't get it out of you, if we don't get you moving, we don't know where to pivot. Okay? We don't know where to pivot. Yeah, go for it.
When you say one size fits all, that really struck, because it's not just that it isn't one size fits all for all of you, but it isn't one size fits all for you, meaning that you have to do it in this certain way. And if you don't do it in this certain way, then it doesn't count and you can't move forward. So when you then say, we have to get it out of you, I just think that's beautiful, because you know what you think up here may be different when it comes out of here and lands on this paper here. And that can be an iterative process. But What doesn't work is when it only stays here because you keep thinking, I can't speak it or I can't write it until I know it. And that's where it dies.
We
To
give
you,
it up for
Fran.
Patrick. Okay. So is anybody a little bit relieved right now that it doesn't take money, right? It just doesn't take money. It does take time. You're going to have to give it about 10 hours a week to get started. It does take focus and decision making. It does. It absolutely does. Markel's on. Markel's got these amazing products for first-time Ironmans. And she's put in the time. Okay. She's put in the time, right, Markel? And but it's like, so one of the things I want to talk about, I told you guys I was going to talk about 3 things today: time, money, and capital assets. Okay. I'm going to write down, I'm going to give you the list right now of the things that you need for your course. I'm literally going to give you the list. Who wants the list? Okay. Write these things down. You're going to need a headline. Okay. You need what's called a headline. You need something that's going to say, yo, coffee here. Right. Okay. What's Nike's headline? Just do it. Okay. What's Motel 6's headline? We leave the light on for you, right? Okay. You're going to need a headline. Okay. Because right now, I personally love each of you, but nobody knows who you are. So you're going to need a headline. Okay. Think of a billboard sign. The second thing you're going to need is a sub-headline. Just do it could refer to making an apple pie. But I don't think that's what Nike means, right? So they have a whole series of sub-headlines. You're going to need a sub-headline. It usually looks like this: how to blank without thing they hate. How to create an online course without spending a ton of money. Woo. Okay. Sound good? Subheadline. Headline might be, do it now. Subheadline, how to create an online course without spending a ton of money. Headline, subheadline. Write in the chat if you're getting ideas for your headline and your subheadline. Okay. You're gonna need a name. Now you need a name for your course. Okay. At the end of this session, I'm actually going to offer you something. I'm going to offer you something called C2C-ID. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but if you stay on, I'm literally going to invite you into something that we have. All right. It's called C2C-ID. You need a name. Write down a name for your course. Okay. My first course that I ever broke through on was called Decorate Like a Pro System. Subheadline, how to create rooms that live as beautifully as they look, including how to customize anything, including the dog bed in the family room. That was the name of my course. Okay. The next thing you're going to need some kind of training, right? The course, right? You have to have like videos or audios or written stuff. Is anybody surprised by the list yet? Right? Nobody should be surprised by the list. But let me tell you something. This list is what our clients who pay us $25,000 get. So I can give you the list. Okay. But here's the thing. What good is a list if we don't decide, identify, and execute? Okay. Sidebar for a minute. I've been in this game since 2008. I have given this list, I don't know how many people, Patrick, hundreds. They don't do it. Because we're social creatures. And why are there people alongside you cheering you on at the marathon and the Ironman, Markel? What are they doing?
They are pulling you to that finish and they're celebrating your success, but you have to be pulled to that finish line before you get to celebrate it. So they're there to get you through it. There are people running on the sidelines the last mile with random people like, I don't know your name, but come on, you're not going to quit now.
Come on, let's give it up for Markel. You're doing a first-time Ironman, sign up for her programs. Okay, she'll
It
get
works.
across the finish line. Like literally, it works. The point is, I'm giving you this list today, but I'm going to make you an offer at the end of this because I want you to finish. Because I want to be there cheering you on. I am going to do that. Is that okay if I do that after I give you the rest of this list? Do I have your permission? Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Pam. All right. So you need content, right? You gotta train them on something, right? If we're making the apple pie, it's one type of content. If we're doing deliverance ministry, it's another kind. If we're doing meditations for moms, it's a different kind, right? Iris's is probably going to come through like text and audio. Karen's is going to probably be accessible on a nice computer screen, right? Where people can sit and watch in the privacy of their own space, right? Right? Okay. The next thing you're going to need some PDFs. You're going to need some checklists. People like to do checklists. They like to be celebrated, right? I mean, when you're running a marathon, there's a mile marker. Right? You're mile 1. Oh, I got 25.2 more to go. Okay. So you're going to need those mile markers for your clients. Okay. The next thing you're going to need some emails. You need a way to connect, right? You're going to need some actual emails. Next thing. Okay, this just hang with me for a minute. Who's ever heard me say, in order to make money online, you have to have something to sell? Have you ever heard me say that? Okay, so the next thing on the list, you need a price. You need a payment button. I have stories. And I finished my course. Awesome. Where is it? Where can I buy it? Well, I haven't decided. I'm like, what's the first part of the DIE framework? Decide. Right? You got to make a decision. So I say that kind of humorously, but just, I won't share out there on the stream, but how many of my VIPs right now have something that somebody can pay money for and buy? I know Markel does. How many of you right now, one in the chat, if yes, 2 if no, have something that somebody can buy right now without you present? Yes or no? Yeah, nope. So does it sound funny? Like, Ian, give me the list. I'm like, buy now button. I say this with humor because, guys, I've been at this a while, and I want you to know it's totally normal. Just say, I'm normal. I'm normal. It's all good. Okay? I'm normal. It's all good. All right. Next, you're going to need a logo. Not a fancy logo, a crappy logo. You just need a logo. Guess where, bye Markel. Guess where the logo goes? On your buy now button. Because people have to make an association with, oh, it's just a neural, neural pathway thing. You just need something concrete to hold on to because it's online. And write in the chat, crappy logos, all good. Crappy logo, better than no logo. Crappy logo, better than no logo. Okay. Next thing you need, a picture or a graphic of your product. Guess where that goes? Guys, I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun? I see your success already. So that's why I'm having fun. Okay. I want to lighten the mood. It's actually, these are the things I will share with you. These are the things that trip people up. Because instead of having the list and knocking the list off, boom, 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 they spend years designing a logo. But if you spend years designing a logo, the client that you were called to serve that you identified 6 weeks ago has already bought the product from somebody else. They've already moved on. Okay. All right. The next thing you're going to need is some testimonies, or what we call social proof. Why do we need that? Because we're social beings, aren't we? And here's the thing, how many of you have never done an online course before? You've never done anything like that before, okay? So one of the things that is a kind of a hack, if you've never done this before, is to actually create your course and run a few people through it free to get their testimonies, to get their feedback. And I always say no more than 5 people. If you need, I'd prefer like 3 people, right? And just say, hey, I'm building this thing live. I'd love to have, get your feedback, okay? Because then you've got actual concrete testimonies with real people. And it's not only going to help your future clients, it will help you, okay? This process will help you build your confidence, okay? And guess what happens also? Your course that was $47 after you teach it once, all of a sudden it's $9.97 because you're like, dang, that was a lot of work. Okay. All right. The next thing you're going to need is, well, first, is this list helping? Like I've got Karen and Pam on and Marilyn in the VIP. This list is helping. These are the things that you need. Okay. Everything I'm going to teach you today, you can take with and run with without me. Okay. But like I said, I am going to make an offer at the end in case you want to journey with us. We're going to make an offer for you guys to spend a single day with us and knock everything out. Okay. I'm literally going to invite you into one of our high-level masterclasses that we do with our high-level masterminds. And you're going to come on a Monday and we're going to knock out the whole thing. That's what I'm going to talk about in a minute, but let's review the list so far. Okay. You got a headline, right? You got a subheadline. You got a product name. You got a logo, right? You got some training. You got some PDFs and some checklists. Okay. You've got an image of what your product is going to look like. All of these things, by the way, are easy. Write it in the chat. It might not be comfortable, but it's easy. Okay. It might not be comfortable. It might be kind of like that dress that you put on the day after Thanksgiving. When like there was a little too much pumpkin pie and you're like, dang, this thing is not comfortable. Right? But the dress itself is easy. Okay. So you're going to need a graphic, an image representation of your product. Okay. The other thing you're going to need is a place to deliver it. Now, what we're going to unpack in the first week of June with our mastermind is setting up a super high caliber Facebook group to deliver your information product in. Okay. Marilyn's like, oh, why? Because it's free. Okay, write that in the chat. Facebook is free. I love Facebook. I know some of y'all don't love it. I do. I love it. I think it's an amazing tool. I love it. Connects me with people I would have never met. Gives me an opportunity to serve people at a really high level without putting out a ton of resource, right? I just sow my time and my expertise, and I create this super simple Facebook group, and it gives me a testing ground for my content. Write that in the chat. A testing ground for my content. Okay. In the VIP, we talked about building a building. And when you build a really big building, you actually have to test the soil before you pour the foundation. Okay. Does everybody know that? They do like soil tests to see the composition of the soil before they pour the foundation. That's really what your first course should be. You're testing the soil of your client base. And that's why I like to create them in Facebook before I invest thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars into softwares and complicated systems. I'm always testing the soil, if you will, of my potential clients. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. The next thing you're going to need, which I don't have any post-it notes, are what we call pixels. Okay. Pixels are like little post-it notes that you put on people when they land on your stuff. Okay. Little tracking device. Okay. I have these little pugs. They're super cute, but we live in Lake Tahoe where there are like lots of, I was going to say lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, there are lots of bears where we live. There are lots of bobcats and things like that. So in my pug, we actually have a tracking device where we can know on their collar. A pixel is an online way to basically put a post-it note on somebody when they come into your vortex. Okay. Not complicated. It's just one of those things that you might not know that you don't know. Does everybody know about pixels in this group? Okay, so we have on the capital asset sheet, if you join us for the implementation day, we've got trainings on, and literally I'm looking at pixels for Facebook and for Google. Why do we do that? It's no different than, how many of you have a list of like your friends' birthdays so you don't forget? Okay. My sister actually had a bracelet made with the entire family's birthdays on it, so she wouldn't forget. Okay, that's kind of what a pixel is. It's just a reminder like, hey, don't forget to call Margaret on her birthday, right? That's what it is in theory. And it's your way of having that access for your clients. Hey, don't forget, Susie stopped by, put her email in, but then she got called away. So we want to make sure and remind her with an email. Okay, does that make sense? Does that, okay. The last thing you're going to need is what we call terms and conditions and privacy policy. Okay, now nobody get freaked out. There is a website that literally is called privacyterms.io. Privacyterms.io. And what you do is you go on there, you sign up for an account, you have to pay them some money. I don't know how much it is. And they generate these things for you. Like, how cool is that?
It's not that much. It's really easy.
It's like, how cool is that? That's the list. I'm literally like, I'm looking at the list, and the list isn't like on some fancy thing. It's like on a Google document. And anytime anything changes, I change the Google document. I'm always trying to make the Google document less, not more. Less, not more. Write this in the chat. Simple scales. Complicated fails. Say it out loud with me. Simple scales, complicated fails. Okay. Where are my smart people? You're all super smart. Part of the hurdle for super smart people, which you all are, is simple. Okay, just put your hands together like you're going to say a prayer, like simple, right? The gospel is simple enough for a child to understand and deep enough for us to spend all of eternity getting a hold of it, right? In the same way, your course, especially your first few ones, need to be so simple. 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 One core concept at a time. Say it with me. Decide, identify, and execute. I literally help somebody create a course, no joke, how to turn on your computer. I'm like, what? They're like, I ran it by my aunt. And she's like, oh, absolutely. I pay somebody to come to my house to teach me how to use my iPad every week. I'm like, you're kidding me. She's like, nope, I'm taking iPad lessons. Okay, that's when it really hit me. Simple scales. Do you know there are people getting paid $60 an hour to talk to lovely grandmamas and great aunts about how to turn on their iPad and how to use their iPad? So, who's got some hope? All right, we've got 2 more days left in this challenge, but with your permission, can I share with you guys what we're going to make available to any of you who want to join us? I literally don't have a sales page. I have a link on like a Google document. Okay. Now, Marilyn, Iris, Patty, Teresa, whoever else is already in the mastermind program, you guys are already in. But for whoever else is not in, we're going to be hosting. Well, first, has this been helpful so far? Do we have any ahas yet? Any ahas? I would love to take an aha or two before I share this thing. Any ahas? It's all good. I'll take ahas from anybody. I want to know this has been helpful because I remember what it was like.
I loved when Patrick said, just to get it out. You know, I mean, that's just going to be my, like, I'm going to get a tattoo. Just get it out. It's like it's worthless. It's meaningless if you don't get it out. Get it out. That was my aha. Thank you.
Come on. Let's give it up for Karen. Write it in the chat. Get it out.
And I don't want to, if someone has an aha, please share it. Also on the stream, share it. But an aha that I want people to get, if you haven't already got it, is when you were talking about doing a course on how to turn a computer on. And that reminded me of something that's very important you have to remember when you're building this, is that the people that you're speaking to don't know as much as you think they know. Because you know it. When we know something, we tend to think, well, everybody knows that, and they don't. And I can tell you, just in communicating in this fashion, when I communicate with people and I send an email and we say things, people miss things, right? They're not always tracking. Well, in the same way, they don't know as much as you think they know. So you likely have way more content than you think you do. And you're probably going to have to spend time editing down what you have rather than coming up with things to say.
What he said. I literally just wrote in the VIP chat, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was I included too many things in my courses. I included too many things. I was trying to take people from A to Z. And you need to take people from A to B, right? Patty's nodding her head. She's been with me a while. She's like, whoa, no fire hose. Get me from A to B, okay? All right. So we literally, Patrick and I literally were talking this morning. We're like, what do we help people with? How can we help people who aren't already in our programs get a fast win? Okay. Not a 12-month win. If you are interested in like coaching and mastermind and having us walk with you daily, we have mastermind programs. We have high-level consulting days. We have high-level masterminds. We have medium-level masterminds. Okay, so we have these year-long programs, but what I'm going to talk about today is a single day, and we're calling it literally Clarity to Cash Implementation Day. That's what we're calling it. Literally, I mean, I wrote a Google Doc and I'll share it with you in just a second. I'm literally going to read to you what it is. How to confidently create, sell, and scale. Those are 3 different skill sets. All right. Create, sell, and scale. 3 different skill sets. Your first, just say my first. Now, I work with a lot of people in the faith space. Mandated message, the message that God has mandated on your heart, as a high caliber online course. So this is the name of what we want to offer you guys today. Clarity to Cash. So get clarity and turn it into a cash. I call it a cash machine, an ATM. And it's an implementation day. It is a working, I mean, we're talking 8 hours work. Okay. My goal is to get you to your 10 hours a week on that first day. Because I don't want you to have excuses. That's my heart. Like, stop with the excuses. You need a logo. We got 15 minutes on Canva. We got that thing done. Now, Karen's been in these workshops with me before. You've got your logo. So it's this whole process of actually getting these things done. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to spend a single day together getting a hold of everything on the capital asset sheet. We're going to make decisions. We're going to set up your Facebook group. You're going to open up your computer. You're going to create your guide. You're going to create your welcome guide. You're going to create your polls, your quizzes, your badges. We're literally going to create the entire first course that you have together in a single day. So there are no more excuses, right, Marilyn? And this first course that you create will have a graphic, it'll have an image, and you can either give it away for free as what we call a lead magnet, right? Do you guys know what a lead magnet is? It's how to get people on your email list. Do you guys know what that is? Do you know what a lead magnet is? Yes or no? It's okay. Okay. You can give this course away. You can run 3 to 5 friends through it with them and get their feedback. You can sell it. But what we want to do is, and I was having this conversation with Patrick. So how many of you are in that space where you're like, okay, I get it. I don't need to spend a ton of money to get my course done. I know who I want to serve. And I've made the decision. Okay. And so we wake up Monday. How's the course coming along? When the tree falls at the rental property and the air conditioner bill comes in, right? And your dog throws up his breakfast on the nice new carpet, right? What happens to the course? Anybody? Okay. So one of the reasons we're doing this is that I want to remind you that you are the priority. And the thing that you carry isn't small. But everything out there, all of these things out there, they want to keep you out of the game. Was it yesterday or the day before we talked about how shame causes us to frame things in a negative way, and it actually keeps us out of the game. And I know when I first started making courses online, I was ashamed of what I was coming up with. And so I wouldn't put it out there. And I wouldn't do the webinar, and I was embarrassed. And I'm like, I feel stupid. Am I talking to anybody? I felt stupid. And then I get mad, and then I'd say things about myself that I shouldn't say. And then I was really under it, right? Because my words were creating my world. So what I want to do is take the 5 years it took me, and I just want to compress it, and I want to push you out with something concretely finished. Okay. So that's what we're offering today.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I just said, I don't know if I'm going to do this again, because Patty's in the group, Marilyn's in the group, other people are already in the group. I'm just setting aside every month. We do a monthly masterclass, and I'm like, we're going to do this for our high level clients. Okay. The minimum anybody has paid to be in this room is $10,000, the minimum. Okay. And we're going to offer this to you guys once for $997, and that's it. And you're going to get access to the room that people have paid at least $10,000 to get access to. Because I'm running through my platinum and my titanium mastermind groups through this day. Okay. So we'll drop the link. I have a Google Doc with a payment link. And I don't know, we'll have a couple of seats. I'm not going to leave it open for the whole world. I'm not going to leave it open for a super long time. I just want to invite you in because I want you to finish. Does that make sense? Okay. I want you to finish. Go ahead, Patrick. What do you want to say?
I forgot what I was going to say before, but it doesn't matter because what you said was better. But this is a good solid push. Oh, I think I know what I was going to say. The other thing that will come out of this is clarity, because
yes, that was it.
You know, you come down the road. It's like think of it like you're on a road. You're on a road. You're on a journey, and you're going to this place where you want to have the product, and you want to be engaged with your clients, and you want to be selling it, and you want to be helping them, and you want to be getting paid, and you want to be growing, right? And to get from here to there is a process. It's a road, and the road has some turns, and you don't know what's around the next bend until you head down the road, right? And this is a way to get you down the road, and it's going to give you some clarity. It's going to help you make some decisions. You're going to have to make some decisions, and it's going to help you see what other decisions you're going to have to make, and it's going to hone that. Yeah. So, and that is going to happen in a day. And not 3 months of sitting in your prayer, or 6 months of sitting in your prayer closet waiting for God to come and tell you what to do.
So I want to ask, well, first, can we give it up for Patrick on that? Patty and Marilyn are on, what's the value of being in community? Right? It's a game changer. It's huge. And I'm literally not extending an invitation into any of our programs. I'm inviting you into one room for one day.
And have you picked a date yet?
I think it's going to be the first week in June.
A Monday?
Likely a Monday, likely the first Monday in June when we host our first class. Has everybody on this screen here given birth?
No,
Not you, Patrick. You know, when you come to the time when it's time to give birth, you can't back out. You gotta show up. You can't like, well, he's gonna do it. Well, no, you gotta show up. Well, in the same way, my heart, and I think you guys know this because a lot of you have been with me a while, but my heart for you is that you wouldn't come to the moment of birthing the mandated message, right, that God has put on your life to make into bite-sized pieces for people. That's why I'm chopping up like right here. It's like he's given you a message that is mandated on your life, and it's time for you to put it into containers that other people can access. Whether it's holiday decor, clearing the clutter, or deliverance ministry. Like, for anybody who thinks their message doesn't matter, I have a tabletop setting product. Do you know why I have a tabletop setting product? Because in the Bible, it was said of Solomon that people recognized the wisdom on him based on how his table was set. So I take table setting seriously, and it's a lot of fun, right? It's a lot of fun to make pretty spaces. So whether you're in like what I would call light aesthetic space, or you are Frontlines ministry space, you have a message that matters. And the stewardship of that message, right? We're the sum total of the 5 people we hang out with the most. I highly encourage you to get in the room with people like Marilyn and Patty and Teresa and Iris. I highly encourage you to get in the room with people like that. Because they're moving their mountains now. Like they're stepping up. They're not making excuses. Like, and here's the thing. If you price your information, let's say you price your information product at $97. Are there 10 people in the world who could benefit from your $97 product? Yes or no? Say you price it at $197. Are there 20 people? Yes or no? Okay. Yeah, Patty just said the importance of being in the right room cannot be overstated, right? Patty and I actually met in a mastermind, right? In a design mastermind. So here's what I want to encourage you today with. You have the list. If you don't have the list, you can go back and listen to the entire replay. Literally, that's the list. Okay. So whoever was in need of the tactics, you just got the tactics. The tactics don't change for, $100,000 consultant days to $47 challenge VIP rooms. The tactics don't change. Okay. The thing that makes the difference is you. How you show up, what you believe, how you behave. That's what makes the difference. Okay. We're going to be back tomorrow and we're going to have fun. Right? We love you. I want you guys to get all the breakthrough that you feel you need this week. Okay? I'm here.
hey, Ann, how long do you want to make this offer available?
I think I might only open it up for a couple of seats. Because
Yeah, but how long? Till like between now and Saturday, or?
yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Or if we sell 5 seats, then I'll close it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Marilyn, Patty, Iris, and Teresa know this. I like the small rooms, right? Because you get really high caliber people in small rooms. Cool.
I will say, we have been blessed to work with people who are truly outstanding, and the people that I see in this challenge and that we've met are no different. And there's a value to that that cannot be overstated.
It's true. It's true. All right. We love you. Make sure and invite a friend, tag a friend to watch the challenge replays, to, find it on YouTube, just to be encouraged. All right.
Hey, and we're going to need to confirm the dates so people can decide. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, I would say absolutely it's June 5th, but here's the thing. I have one mentor. He's like, date doesn't matter. He offered a program and somebody changed their wedding to get in the room.
That's a true story.
It's true.
That's a true story.
It is true. He's like, date doesn't matter. You're either in or you're out. You're pregnant or you're not. You're giving birth or you're not. Yeah,
Right.
Joe's like, change your wedding. But I think it's going to be Monday, June 5th.
Okay.
We love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat place. Let's do this.
Thanks, everybody. I had fun today.
Bye.